I'm Jacob Hamilton.
And I'm Hidro and Jacob.
And welcome to the Hardwood Huddle, a basketball podcast where we break down the latest news and games in the NBA and basketball world. Hidro, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It's holiday weekend.
Yep. Memorial Day. What are we doing for Memorial Day?
I just finished barbecuing. Got some barbecue and fries. It was good.
There we go.
And, we got hoops all weekend, so I'm cool about that. And
Yeah.
Family's good. Not doing too much. How about yourself?
I'm not doing too much either. I have it's technically not the weekend, but Monday I have my mom's birthday that I got to go to. And then this following weekend, I'm going to the Sphere in Vegas for Kenny Chesney at the Sphere. I'm excited for that.
People are already there. I remember you told me about that off pod. And yeah, I'm excited for you because that's on my list, my bucket list to go to the Sphere.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. And I've only heard good things about this Sphere. Like one of my buddies, his mom went and she was telling me that there's like robots like walking around like in like the opening door. I was like, I need to see this. I need to see this as soon as possible. And so yeah, no, definitely excited for that. But Memorial Day, nothing too much, just taking it easy. I mean, as easy as it can be, right?
Yep.
I wanted to start. I told this to you off the show already, but you said to mention it on the show, so I'm gonna. Right before we started recording, I was playing NBA 2K My League, and I'm doing a 76ers rebuild. I traded Joel Embiid for the #1 overall pick to get AJ Dybantsta in the next year's draft class, and so I was because he got hurt that what would be this next season, and I was like, you know what, I'm done with Embiid. Like he's holding me back, and I go in to trade him. I trade him for the #1 overall pick. I go through the next season and I go to player retirements to make sure like Steph isn't retiring, KD isn't retiring. And I'm scrolling down just to make sure there's nobody else. And I see Amen Thompson retired. And I was like, what are we? He's an 83 overall. So it's like he's got like the red injured sign right next to him. I'm like, no way they gave him like a career ending injury. And I take a look, ruptured Achilles. And so I'm like, he's fine. I'm just going to veto this and just make him play more ball. And so I'm playing, like I go past it, don't really think too much of it. And then I go into the season, we play the Rockets, and I beat them like 143 to like 101. I'm like, how did I do this? And I look, no Amen Thompson anywhere. So I go to their roster and I go to look at his like emotion. It's like the NBA is too taxing on my body. Like I'm done playing basketball. This is my final season. Final season. I don't know how old he'd be then. Probably closer to like 24. It's like ruptured Achilles. He's just done. He's just done.
You beat him like the Timberwolves beat the Thunder. That's messed up. Nah, man. Yeah. I think that's cold blooded that they were just in Amen Thompson's career like that.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, there's no shot that he's like just career ending injury. But I guess that's what happens in 2K sometimes with that terrible sim engine.
Why would they kill my Rockets' future like that? You know how cold-blooded that would be if. So imagine a scenario. We could do this in the off season for real. Like we could just pick a player and be like, how would this team's future lie if this person woke up tomorrow and was like, you know what, I found Jesus, whatever. I'm no longer in the NBA.
Yep.
And I'm just going to go feed the homeless for the rest of my life. Like, you can't exactly be like cussing them out or anything. That's a really nice thing to do. However, it would devastate potentially a particular franchise. Yeah.
I mean, who just did that? AJ Griffin, right? Did he not just like retire from the NBA?
The Rockets. Like, he got traded to the Rockets and from Atlanta.
Yes.
And he just decided to retire.
Yeah. Just gave his life to God, I guess. Hey, I can't hate on it. I gotta respect it. gotta. Some things are bigger than basketball, and I guess to a lot of people that is bigger than basketball. So you gotta respect it. But before we get into all this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, let us know how we're doing, and use Opus Clips, our affiliate link in the description below, along with Hidro's latest article on BellyUpSports.com. All right, we're gonna open up with game 2 reaction or game 3 reaction of Timberwolves Thunder last night. Hold on, let me make sure I have it on the screen here. Timberwolves Thunder. Let me get the score here. Oh, well, I actually said the real score, talking about the 2K score, but I just had it pulled up here. So Timberwolves beat the Thunder 143 to 101. Anthony Edwards led the way with 30 points, 9 boards, 6 assists, 2 steals, on 12 for 17 shooting, 5 for 8 from 3, along with a Julius Randle 24-point game, 9 for 15. But not the actual guy who played some pivotal minutes in this game was Terrence Shannon Jr. Like, that was some crazy stuff that I was watching. Ended with 15 points, 2 boards, 1 assist on 5 for 8 from the field. And pretty much all of his points came in the second and fourth quarter, with 9 points in the second, along with 6 in the fourth. I'll say the Thunder side of things as well. Shea did absolutely terrible. The Timberwolves had him on lockdown. He had 14 points. AJ Mitchell, rookie, had 14 points as well. Oh, I don't know what's happening here. J-Dub with 13 points. Chet with 10. iHeart with 6. And, that's Lou Dort with 6, along with an Aaron Wiggins 5. So, yeah, an absolute masterclass from the Timberwolves. Opening thoughts about Game 3.
I got a little bit of a sidebar with regard to Game 3. You're looking at Terrence Shannon Jr. He was, I think, 27th pick or something in the draft this past year.
Yep, out of Illinois, I believe.
And that's the guy that they turned to when they needed points.
Yep.
Whereas they also had a lottery pick in Rob Dillingham.
Yep.
Who did not get those type of minutes. Like,
no.
They don't depend on him for offense. So
no.
It's like, that makes me think of Reed Shepherd, that came off the bench for Kentucky also. And you think that these lottery picks that played for Kentucky, but they came off the bench, but they got drafted as lottery picks, it'd be like, maybe they're not as valuable as people are making them out to be.
Yeah.
And it's playing out. It played out in college when they didn't do anything when it came to tournament time.
Yeah.
They lost to a lesser team in the first round. And then it's playing out in the NBA, in which case, they're not playing up to par for a guy that's 3rd overall in Reed Shepherd and I think 8th overall in Rob Dillingham. So
I believe so, yeah.
Shout out to Terrence Shannon Jr. That was interesting. Sprinkle that Minnesota did to expand their minutes to other players.
Yep.
That's not typical to expand the rosters. Most coaches are restricting the rosters come playoff time.
Yep.
And that's something my father always says all the time. Like, how come they're not playing all these other players they got sitting on the bench, other teams? And I let them know, hey, a lot of the times, the coaches want to ride with who they rode with all season. And if they expand to somebody who hasn't played and it doesn't work out, it's almost like they're putting their neck out on the line and they don't know what the result is expected. And they got all these analytics for the people that they played all season. They put on the court all season. Now you want to just say, hey, let's put something out there.
Yeah, let's put them in the game.
Let's see analytics for the other team. Now, don't get it twisted. The other team does not have the analytics either. So they don't know what to expect either. So it's almost like you can catch them by surprise. I'm not necessarily sure that's what happened in this case. I think that Oklahoma City just got bludgeoned.
Yeah.
Not just beat. They got bludgeoned to a pulp. And I think they just did not come to play to that day. They might have just been more dependent on SGA coming in to have another brilliant game.
Yeah.
And once Minnesota got on a roll, they turned to SGA and he wasn't playing up to MVP standards.
So. Thanks to Rudy Gobert though, right? Like, they had Shea like in a blender. Like, if the second he stepped anywhere close to the paint, it wasn't like Gobert was dropping back and wanting to meet him at the rim. No, he was hands straight up. Like, you're not getting around me. You're not getting past me. Like, that was something that like I saw and I was like, wow. Like, it was just like, Shea didn't know what to do. He was lost, and it's just one game at the end of the day, but it still is the Western Conference Finals and a pivotal win for the Timberwolves. I mean, crazy. Like, I'm looking at the game differential right now on like the little graph, and it's just like the first like 2 seconds of the game, you see like the Thunder blue, and then the rest is just all Timberwolves dark blue, and it's just like it was bloodbath. 45 was the biggest lead of the game for the Timberwolves. Like what are we doing here? And in the first quarter, I was like, I don't know if they can do this throughout the entire game, but they didn't score below 34 points in a quarter throughout the entire game. So shout out to the Timberwolves for one hell of a game. Anthony Edwards played super great in the first quarter as well. And that was big.
Was that something that you expected, that they would come and did you think they would come in kind of playing nervous, considering, if you go down 3-0, you're not coming back?
Yeah.
NBA history has dictated.
Yeah. I didn't think it was going to be like this, right? Like I could have expected a win out of the Timberwolves. Like, you're back on home court, like vibes are high. Like, even if you're down 2-0, like anything can happen. It's basketball. It's like, all it matters is there's always luck in it, right? And so luck has to do with everything, right? Like they got a lot of luck, just making everything, having Terrence Shannon do crazy work off the bench. The bench points were crazy, but no, did not expect it to be like this level, obviously, but I expected to see some sort of fight out of the Timberwolves, like in game 3 for sure. What about yourself?
Just like I said in the previous podcast, I thought that Minnesota would just need to figure out a way to kind of crack the code, and they were doing it to an extent, like in game 1, for instance, where they were holding Shea to really low numbers and playing well, and it just got away from them in the third quarter. And I did feel like Minnesota had an opportunity to impose their will defensively in the game. And that change, like you said, of Rudy Gobert not dropping back on the pick and rolls and actually coming up on the pick and rolls.
Yeah.
That's a change that teams literally have to spend an entire practices working on. Whenever that change happens. A lot of that has to do with that point of attack player giving up the ball in spaces where the other guys are attacking off ball. And being ready to kick it out, like swing it out for corner threes and stuff like that. But that's not what they were able to turn to, because I guess they figured Timberwolves wouldn't change their stripes per se. And since they got a good coach there in Coach Finch that is willing to make adjustments and obviously willing to expand the
roster,
the lineup to other players. So I'm glad he's doing that change of pace. And that's why I said it'll be up to Mark Dano, the Thunder head coach, to figure out what his adjustments are. And to me, I think that a guy like him could struggle to do something different than what has been a winning formula all season, to the tune of, how many wins did they have? Something like 68 wins.
Yeah, cool. Like super close to a 70-win team, pretty much, right? Like,
yeah. So I'm thinking, he's going to struggle to say anything, but I got the MVP. I can make slight adjustments, but I can't take the ball out of his hands. And hopefully just attack the basket and get more fouls, which could be a task on the road in Minnesota to draw a kind whistle. So I do like the Timberwolves' chances of making it a series. Like I said it before, it's not like I'm making it up. But if they couldn't make those adjustments, if they were just doing the same thing and just play harder type thing, then Timberwolves were going to get swept.
No doubt. And I mean, just it was like the box scores, like looking at this, or like player stats wise, obviously don't look as bad as like they would if the starters didn't play any in the fourth quarter. So it's like, it's not like this was just a pure domination from start to finish. I mean, like, I want to like talk about Rudy Gobert. Like, Rudy Gobert was like ripping Shea at half court and like get like it's that's like stuff. It's like, okay, like once you see that, like it's like what are we supposed to do? Like it's like just like sometimes like this happens, where we'll have a guy like Rudy Gobert who's kind of like a rock sometimes out there on the court, but then sometimes he'll have a game like this and be like, hey, like we're just gonna live off this and we're just gonna live with it and just keep going. But
future Hall of Famer Rudy Gobert, by the way.
Yes,
just to let you know,
Player of the Year.
Some people look at him as just that guy's kind of a guy that you can come play all time and stuff like that. He's actually really good, and somebody that the opposing team game plans for on a night-to-night basis. So when he's doing something different on the court and you didn't have time to game plan for it, that's the result you could be looking at.
Yeah, and obviously he had that 27 points, 24 boards games against the Lakers in the first round. But like when you're looking at that, it's like, well, the Lakers were playing super small, right? We're not playing Jackson Hayes this game. JJ Redick stuck to his guns and was like, I'm not doing that. And that's how that turned out. But like Rudy Gobert, like kind of everywhere else, like just we'll talk about rebounds here. But 11 boards, 9 boards, 13, 6, 8, 3, 9, 7. Like he's not like putting up crazy numbers against teams that he really should. But like a game like this, like I don't care if he only has 7 boards. Like he's doing the stuff everywhere else, and I'm living with that. So if I'm a Timberwolves fan, I'm very happy with Rudy Gobert today. And tomorrow is a different day, so you never know what can happen with Rudy Gobert. But definitely have to look at it. And also on top of that, I mean, they shot 20 for 40 from 3. Just only 10 turnovers compared to the Thunder's 14. Held the free throw numbers down as well. So it was an all-around good game from the Timberwolves. I got a question for you about the Timberwolves, though. We obviously seen Ant after the game, right? He gave that look. We've seen a couple guys give a look in a post-game press conference where they're just like head down, locked in, just eyes straight forward. I remember one vividly, LeBron James against the Celtics. He did it. That was in-game, though. Do you think we could see an Anthony Edwards masterclass the rest of this series to take them to just be like, hey, like we're done losing games. We're about to just 4-0 sweep them in a row? Do you think Anthony Edwards can do that? Do you think he is a player that he can carry a team on his back in the playoffs and do that? Because if he does, then we're going to have to start having some crazy conversations about Ant.
Yeah. I mean, of course, he's 100% that guy. He is him when it comes to being able to put a team on his back and lead them to the promised land. I think he could win a championship this year even. Yeah. But I'm not sure if, like, I don't want to really, like, you put the comparison out, LeBron James and the way he played. What was it? That was probably a series deciding game 6 against Boston in the 2012 NBA playoffs, I believe. Yeah. On the road. This is different.
It's no. It's different. It's different. But like Luka did it against the Suns, and I know this very well. It's like everyone's like laughing when they're up. It's like now I know exactly what happened after that. Like it was a bloodbath from Luka Doncic, and he beat like Chris Paul hits a 3 to cut the lead to 47. Like it's like what if we see something like that here? Because like I was sitting here watching this game just like this, and I was like, in the first quarter, I was like, this might be like an Ant crazy game, and obviously it didn't end up being like a crazy game per se because he didn't play in the fourth quarter, so he could have had 15 more and had 45, but he only ended with 30, but shot the hell out of the ball. Only 4 turnovers. I mean, it was great. So that's why I wanted to ask that question. It's because it's like
I really love Anthony Edwards. Like I said, he can be that guy. It's not a legacy game for him per se. This is his second go. This is his second go around in a row in the conference finals. So you do want to see some improvement, especially as a young guy. So you can kind of put him on like a Dwayne Wade path if he can make the finals this season. Yeah. Same way as Dwayne Wade, he made the conference finals the year before he got to the finals and won a championship in 2006. So you do want to see that level increase there. But I give more credit to the coaching staff of the Timberwolves for changing it up. And I feel like it was more of a defensive victory
It was, yeah.
Keeping SGA off of the free throw line.
Mm-hmm.
SGA was able to make an adjustment to some extent because he got 6 assists. Like we said, when Rudy Gobert comes up on, I'm getting too technical, but you understand.
No, this is the good stuff, right?
I'll make sure the audience can follow me. But if the guy that's coming up on the double stays up and it forces a pass from the point guard, that's where the assists start generating from. Then you expect an SGA to get like 10, 11 assists, especially as a starting point guard and MVP. But he's not that type of a point guard. He's more of a scoring threat.
Yeah.
So
his passing is there, but it's
different.
His passing, like if we're talking 2K and grade letter wise, like he's not an A+ passer, right? But like he's more or less probably closer to like a B+ A- in a sense, right? Like he's not that's not his main thinking. Like he wants to score because that's how he knows how to score, right? Like he averaged 32 points like this season, so it's like he's gonna know what he does and he's gonna do what he knows how to do. But obviously it takes some time to adjust and all that. So
yeah, I don't think those young players on OKC were ready to go on the road in the conference finals and immediately take charge of the offense once SGA realized it's a change of pace and now I got to give it up to somebody else to make a play. So that's an easy adjustment for OKC to make, and maybe playing SGA off the ball a little bit to go receive it afterwards instead of initiating the offense initially to kind of do some rub screens and get himself open in that sense.
Yeah.
Then you can see some of those adjustments will probably take place next game.
Yeah.
But I think that the Timberwolves are ready for it. I'm not sure and I'm sure you could probably look it up, but I'm pretty sure since like March, the end of March, the Timberwolves haven't lost very many games at all. They might have lost maybe one game or 2 games since the end of March, and then including the playoffs, because they went on a crazy winning streak in order to avoid the play-in tournament in the Western Conference, and then
they were 8-18 after the All-Star game. So pretty elite. Like
8-18. Say that again.
18-8.
18-8. Okay.
So they were playing high level basketball.
Yeah, they finished. I'm pretty sure they finished on like a long winning streak, and then they swept the Lakers. Gentlemen swept the Warriors, and then they come and get spanked in the first 2 games.
Yeah,
and it's like, how's the team with all that momentum all of a sudden just start losing in that kind of manner? Like they're not able to maintain that same momentum. That didn't make any sense to me. That's why I did feel like, the Timberwolves could make adjustments to be in this series, and it's a series right now. So I'm excited to see what's ahead.
Yeah, so am I. And realistically, I kind of hope that they go out there and win Game 4 because then we just have a bunch of basketball ahead, and that's just perfect, and that's what I want. And who doesn't want that in any other world? But what that game is tomorrow, Monday, 5:30 p.m. my time.
The games keep coming. The games keep coming.
I just and then we'll get into obviously this next series because this is we're now in Game 3 of Pacers versus Knicks. That's tonight. We're recording this on Sunday. This will probably be out Monday. So Game 3 going into Indy. Let's go over Game 2 first, actually. No, wait, did we already go over Game 2?
I think it was happening while we were recording or something. I'm not sure.
Whatever. But we'll go over it. Why not? 114-109. Pacers beat the Knicks, obviously. For the Knicks side of things, we'll start with the Knicks. Jalen Brunson, 36 points, 11 assists. Mikal Bridges, 20 points, 7 boards, 2 steals. OG, 16 points, along with 5 boards. Cat with 20 and 7 boards as well. And Mitch Robb, 6 points, 9 boards, obviously doing what he what he has been doing for the Knicks. For the Pacers, Pascal Siakam with a 39-point game was unbelievable performance from him. Tyrese Halliburton had a lesser of a game than he's been having, but 14 points with 11 assists and 8 boards, only 5 for 16 from the field, along with Miles Turner 16 points, and Aaron Nesmith with 12, Nembhard with 12, and TJ McConnell with 10. Pacers beat the Knicks 114-109. Opening thoughts about game 2. How are we feeling for the Knicks, right? Going into game 3 tonight at the Field House or whatever they call that.
It's not the Field House anymore. I think it's like Bank. Oh, it could be. I think it's like Bank Life or something like that.
Let me see.
But and just FYI, I did pick the Knicks to win the series, and I haven't changed my stance. One of my best friends, he lives in Indiana, so he gave me a bit of the pulse of the city there, and to Pacers fans, their offense is too great for New York to overcome with a single player.
Mm-hmm.
And Jalen Brunson's trying to do it by himself.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be enough when it comes to trying to slow down the Pacers on offense.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way Indiana Pacers fans are feeling right now. I told them that I believe that without Pascal Siakam having that brilliant first half, especially, he had a great game in total, that the Knicks could probably would have won that game, and actually don't even think that it would have been close.
No, it wouldn't.
With that being said, he also said that, just like I said in the previous podcast, that the Knicks look tired.
Mm-hmm.
The Knicks, if Tom Thibodeau is not willing to expand the roster, do something similar to what Chris Finch did in Minnesota, and start letting Precious Achiuwa off the bench, PJ Tucker, who's got finals experience, dust him off. I think he got finals experience with the Heat in 2023.
And in Eastern Conference Finals with the Bucks, I believe. Again,
he won the title with the Bucks in 21.
That's right. He was on that team. Oh, yeah. Well, obviously he was on that team, yeah. You just didn't really get the PT.
Yeah, and if you're not going to dust off these players and put some minutes on them to kind of give your starters a blow, maybe save your timeouts, because he only had one timeout for like the entirety of the fourth quarter. So using your challenges in the second and third quarter, stop doing that.
Yeah.
That's enough for doing that. And win or lose, you need those. I think the Pacers won game 1 in part because they didn't use their first challenge until the last 11 seconds or something of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And got the ball back and scored. And then in the overtime, a play in which they gave the ball to New York, they used their second challenge. You get 2 challenges for the refs to review. The first one, if you're good, then you keep your challenge and it doesn't cost you any timeouts. The second one, you have no more challenges and you lose a timeout, but you get the result that you're looking for. So you want to save those for instrumental parts of the game, regardless of how the game is looking. If you're winning by 10, 12 points, you still can't use it in the first quarter because it was an obvious out of bounds call. It doesn't matter. It's one possession, and you need those timeouts are a lot more valuable than you're making them out to be.
Yeah.
I love the Mikal Bridges playing 82 games and Jalen Brunson averaging 42 minutes or whatever minutes he's averaging for the playoffs. And
a ton.
That's great that they're these warriors that can log heavy minutes for you and still play good games for you.
Yeah.
But I think it would change the pace in terms of how the Pacers run their defense.
Yep.
And B, you can give up more fouls if you need to slow the pace down. PJ Tucker is known for slowing the pace down.
Yeah, just get him in there.
Some fouls or some heavy-handed defense, and the referees will let that play on based on his reputation. And you give those guys a blow, so they'll be able to play all 12 minutes of the fourth quarter if that's what's required to save your season.
Literally.
You're 2-0, you're 0-2 at home, and now you got a pivotal game 3 on the road.
Yeah.
If you're down 3-0, you're going to lose the series. That's the way it works. So
just
you
not
have
happening.
to win tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, just the coaching from Thibodeau was just super interesting. You're the start of the fourth quarter, it's 81-81, and I get like Brunson needs to get some rest, right? Because he played 39 minutes, but at this point, just play his ass the entire game instead of playing campaign. Terrible 3 minutes, just 3 minutes, by the way. And he had a -9 +9. So he was a negative, super negative in 3 minutes. That is terrible. You just can't let him be playing the first 3 minutes of the fourth quarter and then calling a timeout and then not putting Brunson in the game. So it was just abysmal. And then on top of that,
you gotta give him the rest in the beginning of the game.
Exactly. It's like, well, maybe if you just, like you said, if you just put PJ Tucker in to slow the game down. I mean, just at the end of going into halftime, you can do that. Like, I get end the quarter good. I get that. And I'm a number one person that is going to say that, because if you end the quarter good, you're just going to more than likely play the start of the next quarter good because momentum's high. But you still you just can't not play him in the first 3 minutes of the fourth quarter after a timeout was being called. And then people were saying the terrible jump shot that Brunson took on the right side of the wing with how much time was left? 8.6 left. So I mean, they were down 3. But you need to score, and you only have 8.6 left, and you're gonna have to foul again. And so people are hating on that shot. I don't think it's a terrible shot. You don't have time left. You have to put points on the board, obviously, and might as well take it. And you're gonna have your best guy taking that every time. So it's if Jalen Brunson's taking it, I'm not mad. So, just craziness. I mean, I was amazed.
Who is Brunson's backup?
Campaign.
Yeah,
you got Deuce, but then you have Campaign. I know Deuce is main guard.
Yeah, Campaign. I don't think should play at all. Actually, they need to go to somebody else. I don't like his minutes. Ever.
No, I mean he's only.
I think he should not play at all.
This playoffs, his most points in the game was 14, and ever since then, he's had 3 6-point games, and then twos, zeros, 4, and then that's about it. So Campaign is just, trust me, I know a lot about Campaign. He was on my basketball team, and that was not very fun with his ugly jumper. I mean, but yeah.
Yeah, ugly jumper in 9 minutes of play last game, 0 for 3.
Just that weird.
0 for 2 on 2-pointers, 1 assist. I think they're wasting the few minutes that Tom Thibodeau lets Brunson and them rest.
Yep.
Those minutes don't need to be going to Campaign. Give them to somebody else. DeLon Wright, dust off Laundry Shamet if you have to.
Shamet is trash, but maybe even put Kolek in there. First 3 minutes, Kolek see the floor, kind of see what's going on. Maybe bring
They're not gonna do that. I feel
they're not gonna do it, but it's if you're not gonna play Brunson and you're gonna play Campaign these terrible minutes that he's been giving you the entire playoffs, it's I'm putting somebody else in, not.
I think PJ Tucker has the resume that would allow Thibodeau to say, okay, I can give those 10 minutes to Tucker as opposed to somebody else. As old as PJ Tucker is too, it's
I mean he's got background and he's got history to show that he can do stuff in those situations. But yeah, just super interesting coaching. But Game 3 prediction is tonight, or Game 3 is tonight. Your prediction is? I just want to make sure we have them.
It's got to be Knicks, because
yeah,
they're not coming back from 3-0,
and I hope they do win.
And there's always a scenario where I'll look at a team that could potentially go down 3-0, and I'll see if maybe they could go down 3-0 and still come back to win. This isn't it.
No.
There's situations every now and again where you think that a team that's just not playing up to its potential could come back from 3-0. That happened with the Boston Celtics against the Miami Heat.
Yep.
In 2023, where the Celtics came back to tie it at 3-3 before Jason Tatum came down and turned his ankle. I'm a Heat fan, so I remember all of that vividly. We were extremely worried about Game 7 on the road for the Heat, and that was a blowout victory. Most of those, if they make it to 7, it becomes a blowout. In this instance, the Knicks are not coming back if they lose tonight. It's going to be tough to win on the road, but I do think that they have what it takes. It really depends on what coach plans on doing. If he's going to go into fourth quarter with one timeout, it's a wrap.
Yeah. And OG just can't be non-existent offensively either in the fourth quarter, because I'm like, these are OG's stats in the fourth quarter of Game 2. 9 minutes, so he didn't play the first 3 as well. 2 points, 1 board, 0 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks, +4, plus minus, obviously, because OG's going to do stuff for you defensively every time, and I'm not going to be mad about that. But 0 for 1 from the field, like, you're taking 1 shot, you made 2 free throws, like it's just like, I mean, and then you have a first quarter where you score 9. It's like you're just like I just don't even.
I was afraid you're going to find OG's stats. They signed him to an extension, a very big extension this past summer. I mentioned that I believe I mentioned that in my article that's on BellyUpSports.com about the Karl Anthony Towns trade and the Knicks going all in on this season, winning a championship. So hopefully, like, OG has to step up. He's got the money. He's got to step up and produce, because they're dependent on that. They paid Jalen Brunson all that money, and he's been stepping up to the plate.
Yeah,
they need OG to be doing the same.
They
traded a bunch of picks for Mikal Bridges, and he stepped up defensively, especially against the defending champs when they knocked off the Boston Celtics,
and offensively as well. For Mikal, he stepped up in a sense. Fourth quarter, he had 10, 5 for 8, but still making buckets, right? Putting points on the board.
So they need OG to do the same. I'm worried that the Knicks, as a community, they celebrated a championship at the end of round 2 when they knocked out the defending champs. You saw the parade of people that they had on the streets of New York at the end
attacking Pacers fans with trash bags. I mean, like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Can't do that. And Cat as well is also playing terrible in the fourth quarter. He's unplayable in the fourth. He only played 5 minutes in the fourth quarter of Game 2. I just want to make sure that's out there.
Do you have a plan for the Knicks to come out with a victory in this game, or do you just have, because your prediction is the Pacers winning, so maybe you don't?
You know, I have a plan of victory as long as Cat's playable, OG doesn't disappear. Brunson plays all 12 minutes in the fourth. You have Mikal. Mikal can just have the same exact game again. And obviously, he in the fourth quarter, let me make sure I just have his exact stats up here. I mean, like, Mikal gives you 10 in 12 minutes. I'm happy with that. But Brunson can't just be playing 9 minutes in the fourth. Like, he has to play 12. Cat has to be able to play defensively. Like, I saw a tweet where, I mean, we might be seeing a lineup of Brunson, Brunson, Mikal, OG, Cat, and then Mitch Rob. Like, we have like a Twin Towers lineup of that, because that lineup seems to work sometimes, because Mitch Rob is being better on defense than Cat is, and so he's playing more pivotal minutes than even Cat. So
that lineup strikes me as too slow.
But like, you got to figure out what works, right? Because it's like Cat is really bad for you defensively. Like, he is, like, they're hunting him. So it's like, what do you do? Like in that sense, it's like, because it's like you're not benching Cat because he still can bring offensive production to you. So it's like Josh Hart is still there, right? But like not having the greatest game of his life, 6 points and 6 boards. Like in the fourth quarter, he played 5 minutes because Mitch Rob lineup was working better. So it's like, never really know. That's the plan of victory, is if they play that lineup every second of the game and just like grind it out.
My guess is with that lineup, they probably going to have to go zone and hope for some misses and anticipate that big lineup should be able to get boards, even though it'll be difficult to get boards out of a zone. But if you have a zone there, you could potentially hide Cat in that manner.
Yeah.
And see what plays out.
Yeah. I'm excited for game 3. I really hope the Knicks do win, just because obviously I want better series, obviously. But realistically, do I think that's going to happen? Probably not, but I sure hope so. We also, in between the last episode, we had the all NBA teams were announced. And so, I mean, we'll go through those. Let me go full screen here. We'll start with third team. Third team, we have James Harden from the Clippers, obviously, Cade Cunningham, Tyrese Halliburton, J-Dub, and Cat. That is the All-NBA third team there. You know, I really don't have any. Like, I'm not mad about that. It's the third team. The second team, Jalen Brunson, the clutch player of the year, Steph Curry, Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, and our defensive player of the year, Evan Mobley.
You had a pause there. You had a pause there with Steph Curry. You got some thoughts on Steph Curry making All NBA second team? Go, Jacob. Go.
Yeah, so I don't think Steph Curry should have made all defense or all defensive All NBA second team. Let me. I want to make sure I have his numbers up here. And I'm going to compare him to another player.
Everybody heard the pause on the pod.
Yeah,
you can't hide. You can't hide.
Yeah. Let me make sure I have this up here. Hold on. I want to make sure I'm I have my information. I want to make sure I have my information here. I can't see you, but I'm looking at my screen here. In the 2024-2025 NBA season, Steph Curry averaged 24.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, 6 assists, shooting 44% from the field and 39% from three. Obviously, it's Steph Curry. We have to give Steph his flowers. He's the best shooter ever. But we had a player in Phoenix that I know very well. His name was Devin Booker. Played more games than Steph Curry. Played 75. Steph played 70. Booker had 25.5 points, 4 rebounds, and 7 assists, 46 from the field and 33% from three. Obviously, Booker's not an elite 3-point shooter. I don't think Steph Curry should have been all NBA second team. I think we have an outlier there. I think we have an outlier there as well with LeBron James. I don't think he should have been all NBA second team. I thought he should have been all NBA first team. If you have seen our stuff on Twitter. But yeah, I just don't think Steph should have been an all NBA second team type of guy.
All right, go ahead and do the first team, and I'll give you my thought.
All NBA first team, we have the MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Donovan Mitchell from the Cleveland Cavs, Jason Tatum from the Celtics, Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Bucks, and the real MVP, just kidding, Nikola Jokic from the Denver Nuggets. There's another outlier in there, like I just said, in Donovan Mitchell. How you said this on the other show that you think LeBron should have been all NBA or should be all NBA first team because we didn't see these lineups. How are we feeling about Donovan Mitchell being an all NBA first team type of player?
I've said on a previous podcast that Donovan Mitchell is my favorite player in the Eastern Conference, and if people don't know, and Luka Doncic is my favorite player in the Western Conference. Yep. However, the success of the Cleveland Cavaliers this season was not based on Donovan Mitchell and his play. It was based on a collective team effort. And I feel that some of these individual awards they're making them team awards as opposed to the individual awards that they're supposed to be. Yep. So, like you said, in the Devin Booker situation, despite the fact that Phoenix was 11th in the West and didn't make the play-in, which isn't good,
Yep.
You say he had better numbers than Steph Curry did, but Steph Curry, with the team that was in the play-in tournament, was able to make the second team with worse numbers.
Yeah.
With that being said, Steph Curry's numbers were better than Donovan Mitchell's numbers, even, and who was All NBA first team. So It's kind of like I'm not exactly sure what the media does when it comes to their selection process.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that a guy like Alperen Sengun should have made one of the All NBAs if the Houston Rockets are going to be second in the West.
Yep.
And if you want to go by team success, if you want to go by individual success, LeBron James' numbers completely dwarf Donovan Mitchell's numbers.
I have those numbers pulled up. Would you like to hear those numbers?
Yes, sir.
Just so we can have those numbers. I just want to make sure. Donovan Mitchell, 71 games played, 24 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 5 assists. All NBA first team. LeBron James, who is an All NBA second team, 70 games, 24.5, 8 boards, we're rounding up, 7.8, and then 8 assists. So 24, 8 and 8 compared to a 24-5 or 4 and 5. So we're positionless now, but it sure looks like we're keeping positions back into it. So, but hey, to each his own.
They got all the MVP candidates in the first team. So I concur with that.
Yep.
It's everything else that starts to get shaky. You had the Boston Celtics and Jason Tatum. That's cool.
Yeah.
You're rewarding Donovan Mitchell for the Cleveland Cavaliers season when you've already rewarded their coach for the Cavaliers season, and rightfully so. So
and rewarded Evan Mobley. Like you got the team. Like it's the team. Like the team is just a good team, even though they got beat in the second round. But
Evan Mobley got Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
So how did the Rockets get rewarded for being second in the Western Conference, the rough and tough Western Conference?
Yep.
They were the clear second best team. Ime Udoka wasn't Coach of the Year.
Nope.
They didn't have anybody on All NBA. They had one All-Star, a backup on the All-Star team, and Alperen Sengun. And they what did you give them? Amen Thompson made all defensive first team. You mean to tell me Amen Thompson's January and February basically as dominant as those December, January, February months were when he stepped up defensively and they played well? That was I believe when Jabari Smith got hurt and Amen Thompson got inserted into the starting lineup.
Yeah.
He started the season on the bench, so you're not going to tell me, hey, you rewarded him for a whole season's worth of starting defensive play.
Yeah,
you're rewarding how it finished out, but where's the Rockets' rewards for the entire season? Alperen Sengun played the entire season as a starter on the team, and he should have been at least All NBA third team.
Yeah. And that I want to I want to make sure I have like these numbers compared here.
That's if we're doing team. If we're making this a team award, even though it's an individual reward in all manners of contract extensions and all that stuff, dependent on whether you win these awards or not.
Yeah, and realistically, like when I saw that there were no Rockets players, obviously that was like something that caught my eye, of course, because they were the second seed in the Western Conference, a tough conference, debatably the harder conference. And so it's like you really aren't. You can't. It's hard to take a guy like James Harden off this list. Let's say we're going to slot Sengun here into the third team. It's hard to take James Harden off this list because of how what you were saying. He finished the year well. The Clippers were playing great basketball. You have Cade Cunningham. It's kind of hard to slot him out of there as well because of what he did for this Pistons team. Tyrese Halliburton started the regular season off slow. And then obviously the second half of the year, the Pacers did well. J-Dub, I mean, second best player on the best team in the NBA. So you're going to obviously get a second guy in there. And then you have
are we kicking somebody off? Is that what we're doing?
I'm trying to decide who I would kick off here realistically for Sengun.
Oh, let's do it.
Because the thing is, it's like I'm thinking. Wow, that was loud. In reality, I mean, like you can take J-Dub off this list, but it's hard because he's the second best player on the best team in the NBA. But then you have Cat, where if you compare the numbers between Cat and Sengun, Cat 24 points, 12 boards, 3 assists, and then Sengun with 19 points, 10 boards, and 5 assists. So I mean, obviously the assist numbers are higher, but the points and boards are lower. So it's hard. It's hard. That shows you that the NBA that we're in now is like we're in a good spot because we have this many guys, and we're like, wait, this guy should be all NBA team. He should be getting his money. Like I'm not gonna, me personally, I'm not gonna kick anybody off this list because I'm not too super angry about it, but it obviously could be better. But yeah, it's sometimes.
Do you think that before I say who I'm gonna kick off the list, do you think it's more difficult? These discussions are more difficult now than they were back then. And I know you weren't around like back in the
back then
90s, early 2000s type thing.
Yeah.
Where you got like Vince Carter's and
yeah, I think it still is harder now. I mean, like the players that we're seeing, like, because think about it. Think about the guys who got hurt this season, right, and didn't finish out the season and didn't make the correct number of games. When healthy, Joel Embiid is an All NBA player. When Kevin Durant is healthy, he's an All NBA player. When he's healthy, Wemby's an All NBA player. Realistically, De'Aaron Fox is an All NBA player when he's actually healthy, and come next season, he probably will be paired with Wemby when they get an 82 game span. I feel like I mean I could definitely just be blanking here on more guys, but like, yeah, it's just like Jaylen Brown can be on this. Like, is a guy who can be slotted into an All NBA team at some point in his career, right? So it's like we're sitting pretty. Like, and we have Cooper Flagg coming in. Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, VJ Edgecombe, a guy that's a prospect player, but can still be good. Next season, we'll get AJ Dybantsta in the league. It's like Elijah Arenas. Like we're gonna be like sitting pretty with guys. So this is just the start of it with all NBA teams. I feel. And Amen Thompson, like that's gonna be a guy who's gonna be making all NBA teams here soon. Uh-huh. So yeah, definitely gonna be interesting in these next couple of years who makes this all NBA teams. But who do you think should have been off this group? Yeah, that
I think he's had better seasons, and I think that if you're trying to reward team success the way it's looking like they're trying to do with shoehorning Donovan Mitchell in, then the second team in the West needs to be rewarded in some fashion more than giving who started off as a backup player in Amen Thompson All NBA first defense, and then not giving any other awards to any Houston Rockets players. I completely disagree with that.
Yeah, it's definitely it's an interesting pick for sure to not have at least one of your guys, because it's not going to be Jalen Green, because Jalen Green's butt. Right, like he's like it's like he has a March, and that's about it, and then that's it for me on Jalen Green. But like like Sengun should have been in here. Like you're not really gonna put you're not putting Tari Eason in there, but like I think y'all are gonna be fine with all NBA teams. I think starting next year, I think like Amen's gonna be in there all the time because he's just gonna get crazy better unless 2K happens IRL and he ruptures his Achilles and he's done. And there's not even trying to like convince him to come back. But obviously that's not knock on wood. That's not going to happen. So,
all right. I want to take 2 seconds about LeBron's legacy.
Okay.
40 years old, All NBA, second team.
Yeah.
There's a lot of BS on Twitter about plus minus this season. Mm-hmm. I think he was 20th out of 24 players to wear an LA Laker jersey in plus minus this season. So they like to say big stuff about this stat they call plus minus, where if you look at it on the other end and go, who has the most plus minus, the highest plus minus in NBA history is LeBron James, and it's not close.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden plus minus doesn't mean anything. It's like, what do you want to do with the numbers? We can play with the numbers however way you want. At the end of the day, you can't change the number 40. He's 40 years old, playing the way he's playing. And the Lakers were third in the Western Conference with Anthony Davis being in and out, Luka Doncic coming in halfway through and trying to get in shape to play better for their team. LeBron James was carrying that team for a majority of the season. You got JJ Redick in there as a new coach. What you going to give Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura all the credit for the Lakers being third in the rough and tough Western Conference? Give me an effing break. It's LeBron James.
Yep.
And it's always been LeBron James. Like why you keep trying to look for a different answer than the answer that has been since 2003?
Yeah.
Make it make sense. That guy is the greatest player that's ever played, and that's all there needs to be said about it. The numbers back it up. The longevity backs it up. The constant presence in all NBA history.
Yeah.
You can't talk about 25% of NBA history without mentioning LeBron James. He's played that long, and he's been part of every storyline in most people's lifetimes, like the majority of most people's lifetimes.
And realistically, it's like the longevity part's got real, like he's doing this at 40, right? But like, what was Michael Jordan doing at 40? Like, that's just my question. Like, LeBron is just doing stuff we've never. All NBA second team for LeBron James at the age of 40 years old is perfectly fine. And like, at the end of the day, am I going to complain about it? Not really. Like, I'm not really that pissed about it because he's 40 making all NBA second team. He could have made all NBA first team, and that would have been even more crazy. But like, I just don't like LeBron. Like, he's just like, there's just no questions anymore about this. Like, I just like anyone that says Jordan is just trying to be different and trying to be cool, and they're just trying to hate LeBron and all this and that. It's just like, it's Michael Jordan. You're the past, man. LeBron is the past, the present, and the future. So it's like, we're getting LeBron for like 10 more years. He's going to play till he's 50. Like, it's just going to, like, imagine LeBron at 50 years old, just hitting windmills and just like, oh, like, I can't wait for that. I know it's going to happen. I don't think LeBron's ever retiring.
Averaging 18 to 20 a game too, by the way, and pushing for all NBA at 45, 46 years old.
50.
Imagine the haters having to live another half decade worth of complaining about him still being
they thought at 30 he was going to start slowing down. He like started ramping up at 30. Like, he was like on like a trajectory like this, right? Like, you get drafted, and then like after he got drafted, it's just like up. And they were like, okay, we're about to see it. Like, no. Like, it just like went like 2x speed up. Like, it just went even faster and even better. Like, I mean, people like to forget about like the early 2000s LeBron. I feel like I was super young, but like I've done my like due diligence on LeBron James to like know enough about what he was doing in those years. Like, he's had like multiple Hall of Fame careers, like just like at each like stop where he goes. So it's like no one can tell me that like he's just not like, it's just like I'm just arguing for no reason at that point if someone's trying to tell me LeBron is not the GOAT. All right. We haven't done this in a while, but we do have a dead ball review. And the team is the Milwaukee Bucks.
All right, so the Hardwood Huddle does the dead ball review, and we call it a DBR, in which case we talk about a team's end of the season, and as they came to an end, and we discuss why it was a dead ball for them, and they weren't able to come through with the championship. Mm-hmm. Why did it happen, and where do they go from here? So for this one, we're gonna do a super quick one on the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee was 48-34, fifth in the Eastern Conference. Yep. Gentlemen swept by their division rival, the Indiana Pacers, in the first round of the playoffs. Let's see, full season breakdown. They had a full season of chemistry for Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Doc Rivers, all of which I believe are future Hall of Famers. The Bucks started the season winning only 2 of their first 10 games, so it looked really bad for them.
Yep.
But they were second to last in the East. Eventually, they started figuring something out, and they went on an 8-game win streak. And just a sidebar, the NBA was super crazy at the end of the season with all of these teams going on huge runs.
Yeah.
A lot of teams in the Western Conference. I already talked about how Minnesota went on runs, but Denver went on runs. Golden State, after they traded for Jimmy Butler, went on a huge run. All of these teams trying to avoid the play-in or trying to solidify their spot in the playoffs. Detroit did the same thing. Milwaukee also did the same thing. And right now they have the second longest active win streak of making the playoffs. 9 years straight. Yeah, I think the first is probably Boston. If you look it up, it's probably Boston.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Giannis finished third in the NBA's MVP race.
Yep.
And they made in-season trades to stay under the salary cap second apron. So that gives them flexibility for roster moves this summer. That flexibility is something that you wish your Phoenix Suns had, but they do not. AJ Green finished with a career high 43% shooting from 3, so shout out to him. Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo both made All-Star. Some lowlights for the season, obviously, we'll go with the Damian Lillard blood clot issue to end the season, followed by the Achilles tear during the playoffs, which potentially puts his 2025-2026 season in jeopardy.
Yep.
They ended up trading one of their franchise legends, former Texas A&M Aggie. I'm a former Texas A&M Aggie as well. And Chris Middleton, they traded him for Kyle Kuzma, and Kyle Kuzma responded by showing up in the playoffs with 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 in terms of all his major stats in one of the playoff games in 22 minutes of play. One of the most awful playoff games in NBA history. They lost to a division opponent, which means the Bucks may be further away than they want to believe.
Yep.
And, in their division, they got the Pacers, who are 2 games away from the NBA Finals currently. The upstart Detroit Pistons, a young Bulls team that I guarantee will be stronger next season with Matas in the fold, and I think they have a lottery pick.
11.
And 11, yeah. And the Cavaliers won the Eastern Conference. That's their division.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. They got Giannis, and I'm not sure what else, given that Damian Lillard is going to be out for a good portion trying to get his Achilles together. Another season low, like they were up 7 points with 40 seconds to go in overtime of their last game against the Pacers. That game ended with Giannis getting into a verbal altercation with Tyrese Halliburton's dad.
Yep.
And some other wild interactions. It seemed like a crazy scene, and I hope that's not the way his Bucks tenure ends, because they did have a championship in 2021. The core contracts they have locked in through 2026 include Giannis, Damian Lillard, who's eligible for an extension, and Kyle Kuzma.
Yep.
Notable free agents include Pat Connaughton, who I would be interested in if I were a Houston Rockets fan. Bobby Portis and Kevin Porter Jr. all have player options. Gary Trent Jr., Brook Lopez, and Taurean Prince are completely free.
Yep.
The cap situation, they're the 6th straight year over the salary cap and 6th in NBA players' salary. In the draft room, they own the Detroit Pistons' 47th overall pick in the 2nd round, barring any late trade activity. And player exit quote from Giannis Antetokounmpo, he said, "How much belief I have on my guys that I just played a game with 30 minutes ago. I was fighting for my life with these dudes. It's not fair to say I believe in them today, tomorrow, and I'll always believe in them. That will never go away." Question for you, Jacob. What went wrong with the Milwaukee Bucks season, do you think?
Yeah, it's just like you get Kyle Kuzma. Like, I mean, like you go out of the playoffs, right? Like, let's start there. You get gentlemen swept by the Pacers, who are now 2 games away from the finals. So you got beat by a good team. So they're not getting beat. Hold on, my chair went down. You're not getting beat by a terrible team. You're getting beat by a good team. But you got Kyle Kuzma, who's just throws up donuts on the board every night. And so it's just on what did you say Kuzma's contract? Because I just want to make sure I know what
he signed through 2026. I'm not sure about the contract, but it's going to be him, Lillard, and Giannis as their top contracts. That's what their team got moving forward. They're going to sign minimum deals the rest of the way.
You really just like you're in a spot where you have Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? If we're going off MVP voting, the third best player in the NBA this season, right? We're just going off MVP voting. And you have Dame Lillard, who had a blood clot, tore his Achilles, is more than likely out for the rest of the season next year. Obviously, who knows? Then you have Kyle Kuzma, who you're paying stupid money to for the outcome you're getting of him. You're getting nothing. You're just you're in draft room is terrible. You have the 47th pick. You're at your sixth worst salary cap. I mean, like you trade away a homegrown guy, and Chris Middleton. Like you're really just kind of throwing away everything, right? And Pat Connaughton's going to take the player option. Bobby Portis is going to take the player option. Kevin Porter Jr. is going to take the player option because Pat Connaughton's a guy who isn't guaranteed a roster spot anywhere because who knows, right? He's also Pat Connaughton. Kevin Porter Jr., a guy who's had some terrible history. He's gonna take his player option. Bobby Portis is a guy who's been there for some time now. He's gonna take that player option. So you're kind of stuck with that core. Gary Trent, he ended the season well. Who knows what's up with him? Brook Lopez is who knows what happens to Brook Lopez if he comes back, or you just don't know. And then you have Taurean Prince. So you're just really you're just kind of cooked. And you're fishing for options. I'm looking on the trade market. If I'm the Bucks, so just terrible.
Yeah,
I just think a lot of
for me, I think that that Bucks poor start should have been a sign to start making the changes then. I do feel like they did not have the expectation of what the Cavaliers were going to do this season.
Nope.
How that was going to pan out. They didn't expect that. They didn't expect the Detroit Pistons to pan out the way they panned out. So once they had that rough start to the season, they decided to, kind of hold water and try to right the ship as it was. And it turns out that I think the window might be closed when it comes to the team as currently constructed. And it's going to be hard to crack that window open without doing some major changes based on the latest CBA, which of course we'll have a good podcast on the CBA with regards to that. Now, normally I would ask, like, what do you like about the Bucks moving forward? But we can move on from that because it's been a while since the Bucks have been able to play. Yeah. We've been knee deep in playoff basketball. I would just say, if you were the Bucks moving forward, are you moving Giannis this summer, or are you keeping him? Now, mind you, he's under contract. I think they got him for another 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, you got time. Like you have a contract on Giannis. Obviously, you check out what's available on the market for Giannis. We've seen like the rumbling.
Would that make people be like, "Hey, what's going on?" Like when you start putting them on, if you put them actively on the market like that.
Well, not like actively, right? Because like technically, like you just you can handle it in a situation where it's like, "Hey, Giannis," like because they're supposed to have a meeting here soon between Giannis and the Bucks organization on what's next. Right. So we'll know soon technically on what's happening next in Milwaukee. But, I think you got to fish the market for Giannis. I mean, if you have no draft capital, like you're really kind of just stuck there. And you have Dame, and obviously he's eligible for an extension. Tore his Achilles. You have Kyle Kuzma, who's on a contract that for 4 years, $90 million. So it's just not good. But yeah, I'm looking at Giannis on the market. If I'm let's say just the Spurs, right? I'm offering you the second overall pick, which is Dylan Harper or whoever you want to take, but it's Dylan Harper because you take best available in that spot. you get the 14th pick from the Spurs, and you get whoever makes the money match and whoever fits right for the pieces for them. But yeah, I'm fishing Giannis. I'm no hate, but like go send him to a place where he can do something, right? Like, I mean, when they first got eliminated from the playoffs, I remember sending you like a crazy Thunder trade package that works out, but like, who knows if that trade even happens, right? So I think you really just have to, you trade Giannis. That's that, in my opinion. I don't want to see Giannis in a Bucks jersey next season. How are we feeling?
It's really tough to trade your franchise player who got you a championship 4 years ago in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how you do that and maintain face with the community for however long it takes to rebuild your team afterwards. I don't think Milwaukee as a community can afford that to happen this coming season. So I think they're going to have to keep him, regardless of they're going to have to hope that, Giannis continues the train he's going, and hopefully the few young guys that they have on their roster can improve, and they can make a swing trade based on whoever signs up for their player option, potentially trading a Bobby Portis or something, and maybe getting a loose first round pick or something. Oklahoma City's got a ton of picks.
They got
Utah's got a ton of picks. Like these players, they can't play everybody. OKC had a lottery pick that didn't even get on the floor this season due to injury.
Yeah.
So they got to find minutes for him and a bunch of other players, and they're 2 wins away from the NBA Finals.
The NBA Finals.
So these first round picks are going to be given away for players who can help you win now, and they have a few players like that who can give you 10 to 15 minutes for a team that's already built for contention, and some of those teams may not need their picks or other cap flexibility options that Milwaukee can utilize. But I don't know if you can trade that your franchise player this summer. I'm not seeing it. You're not going to.
And that's why it's such a hard decision, and that's why nobody knows what the hell is happening right now in Milwaukee, because we've really had kind of like nothing from them for a while now. I could be forgetting something, obviously, but I'm excited to see what Milwaukee does this offseason with Giannis, and I think we're gonna know here soon. I think that's kind of like something that's almost guaranteed is that we're gonna figure out here soon. But I'm excited. I want to see Giannis in a different jersey. I don't know if I want to see him in San Antonio, but maybe
the West is already strong enough, man.
But like it's also like
are going to be to the Western Conference.
Yeah,
San Antonio, Oklahoma City, you mentioned.
You're not sending him to like an income. Yeah, it's really, you really just don't know. Like it's such a tough spot to be in if you're
the West is tough. You're gonna send Giannis over here. Jason Tatum's gonna be out most of the season.
So it's just
what is the East gonna do?
We're having conference realignment here soon though. Like that's got to be a guarantee, because we're gonna get an expansion team. So we have to move a team from the West to the East, and that's more than likely going to be the Timberwolves. So the Timberwolves, we might just start seeing a Timberwolves crazy run here of like they're going to just take over the East. Like, get out of here, Boston. Like, Tatum, like, you're old news. Anthony Edwards is him. So who knows if we get to see that in the playoffs here soon. So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited though. I want to see Giannis somewhere else. That they're not. You're just wasting career time if Giannis is still stuck in Milwaukee. So I don't know. They also beat us in the finals, so I'm kind of a little butthurt about that still. But that's more butthurt with the Suns than the Bucks. So there's no hatred for him there. All right, Hidro. Where can they find you?
I am at the Hero Joe, ThaHeroJoe, on X, now formerly known as Twitter, and also Instagram. And you can find my articles on BellyUpSports.com, as well as the link to my latest article on this pod.
Yep. You can find me on Twitter at Hammy2004. Hammy spelled Hamie 2004, not Hammy. You can follow us on Twitter at Hardwood Huddle, not the Hardwood Huddle. And on TikTok as well. We are the Hardwood Huddle. Yeah, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share. Grandmas need to watch this. They need some ball knowledge. So anything will help them. But thank you for watching, listening, subscribing, commenting, and doing all that. Thank you to BellyUp Sport as always. Latest articles in the description. Our affiliate link for Opus Clips is in the description as well. So yeah, Hidro, have a good one.
Peace.